And let's see here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's so funny. The button at the bottom says mute, but you're all muted. So I'm gonna take that off, maybe. Well, I want to hear your voices. I don't know how to do it.
Jim, I think
Yeah.
Darren said that this has been disabled, so each one has to unmute themselves.
Oh, is this? Huh. So there's no setting for the host to do everybody, huh?
Apparently not anymore.
Oh boy.
But I mean, we can all unmute ourselves. So if
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. And so I request that during the meditation and during the Dharma talk, you re-mute yourself so we don't have background noise. Are we able, is the host able to mute people?
I think so.
I think so.
So I will watch over that. So right now, Anna Monica, I'll be guarding the gate because Anna Monica is at a Buddhist protest. They call it sit, walk, listen, Black Lives Matter protest. And I will also be leaving right at the end of our group together to go join them, kind of led by the Plum Village group. But anyways, I want to introduce Suvaco, who has been my mentor for the last more than a year, meditation mentor, and just a wonderful man from England. He's mainly out of Gaia House. And so Suvaco, I'm going to turn this over to you. And this is our group mostly in Madrid. I imagine everybody here is in Madrid. And Alberto, I see you were there. Hello, welcome back, Alberto. So you're, let's see. Yeah, you're able to talk, Suvaco. Wonderful. So everybody mute yourself, okay? So we don't have background noise.
Okay. I'm just having a, I'm just sitting on a small iPad. So I'm just briefly scrolling so I can make contact with as many of you as possible. Hola, Alberto. Good to see you again. Yeah, I know you're muted. Very, very brief word about myself. Yeah, so you can, my name is Suvaco. I sit here, actually, I feel very, very delighted actually to meet you here in the group. My background is I was an ordained monk with the Thai forest tradition for gosh, almost 20 years. And since I have disrobed, I am a psychotherapist. I spend most of my time working with activists, usually. So environmental activists, I'm very engaged with this. So usually resourcing people around trauma, around violence. And then also one of the Dharma teachers around Gaia House. That's where I have met Jim. I'm afraid comprendo bien l'espagnol, però non te lo hablo. Parlo bene l'italiano, quindi comprendo bien l'espagnol, però hablarlo, no, soy malo. So I think I'll stick to English. Um, I think when I sit with you, maybe let's just do something as all of us are practitioners. Just for a moment, without changing anything. Don't change your posture. Don't completely ordinary. So just for a moment, completely relax. Completely let go in your body and mind. And as you completely relax into that which is awake. So I don't know how it is for all of you. You can notice this direction of opening up to wakefulness itself. As you can notice, if I say relax into that which is awake, maybe for a moment, yeah, we can. And then can you see, it's like somehow then we can't sustain that very long. So we automatically create subject object. For example, awareness goes to the breathing or goes to the body or repeats a mantra. And in a way, as you notice, meditations really, they are the incredible support to begin to develop continuity in practice. So there are so many facets to this. So I'll just start by giving a brief meditation. So see if we can begin to feel supported, feel nourished as we are. So find ways to just make yourself at ease. And feel free also, if you prefer, I'm okay in a setting like this. If you prefer to lie down, it's okay as well. Or if you're comfortable sitting. So as I'll guide it, you'll have this as a support. So as you move in and begin to find a posture, whether you are seated or lying down, where you actually find you can just be at ease. And as you notice the breath, as it comes and goes by itself, don't be too tight. Just notice as you breathe in, see if you can have that sense of the whole body breathes in. It's as if you breathe in through all the pores of your body. And as you breathe out, softening or relaxing throughout the whole of your body. Just hold that now for a few rounds. Breathing in, feeling the whole of your body. Breathing out, relaxing throughout the whole of your body. So as you breathe in, let your awareness move further in to your body. And see how it is if you can move in, and you can move in and connect the whole of your midline, as if the space just in front of your spine, the space that runs from your pelvis all the way up to the middle of your head. So what can be useful here is when you breathe in, see how it feels to breathe from your pelvis. You let the breath run very gently up from the pelvis, past the belly, past the heart, past the throat, up to the middle of your head. And when you breathe out from the middle of your head, let your awareness run down again, throat, chest, solar plexus, belly, and down into your pelvis. Take your time. We'll just do a couple of rounds together. So next time you notice the breath comes in, feel your pelvis. And as the breath comes in, let your awareness ride the breath from the pelvis, along the spine, all the way up to the top of the head. And when you breathe out, let it descend again down into your pelvis. You can imagine like a elevator shaft. So it's like when you breathe in, the elevator goes up, and when you breathe out, the elevator goes down again. See how well you can feel along the midline. Breathing in, feel how you breathe fresh energy up from below you, all the way up to the middle of your head. Breathing out, releasing along the head, along the throat, along the heart, belly, and return it down to the pelvis, return it down to the ground. So now we'll just kind of like playfully. It's like enjoying having a little bit of fun with the breath. When you breathe in, see how well you can breathe up from the perineum, from the pelvis. Just breathe up into your belly. And when you breathe out, breathe again from the belly down into the perineum. So see how it feels to just focus in a little bit more. Be a little bit more precise in what you notice. Breathing in, you notice your perineum, your pelvis, up into the space in your belly. And when you breathe out, you release from the belly and let your awareness again run down into the perineum. Take down with you anything you don't wish to carry at this time. Tensions, perhaps thoughts that you have. Just let them run down from the belly. Let them run down into the perineum and down below you. And then here, next time you breathe in again, start from the perineum. Breathe in up through the pelvis, up through the belly, and come up into your diaphragm, into the area of the solar plexus. Breathe as far up as your diaphragm. And then from your diaphragm, let your awareness again run down belly, perineum, down into the ground. So even if you have a mental activity going on, the mind still plays up a bit, da 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 da. Just leave it alone. You can parallel with the mind chit-chatting. That's not where you're putting your attention. You just stay with the sensations in the body and the breath. And see next time when you breathe in, see how it feels again to breathe a little further up. You track your sensations along the midline, breathing from the perineum, up into the belly, up into the solar plexus, and come up into the area in the middle of your chest, the area of the heart. And again, when you breathe out, soften from the heart and drop down back into the perineum. You can imagine you have an elevator that is running up and an elevator that is descending. And next time the elevator goes up, let it continue up from the perineum, belly, solar plexus, heart, and let it come up to the base of your skull. So the area of the occiput where you notice the head is connecting up with the throat. See how it is to release from the base of the skull. You notice down the sides of your throat, down your shoulders, and let the elevator again run all the way down into the pelvis. Keep going up now, all the way up till the middle of your head. The space in the middle of your head. And see how it feels to breathe up like a wave that comes from below you. You feel as well as you can along the midline of the body. Let the wave run all the way up till the middle of the head. And then take down again into the perineum, take down all extra tensions, everything you notice that is extra. Take it down with you and release it. Now I'd like you in your own time to just open your eyes. But as you open your eyes, you keep up meditating in this way. So you feel you're breathing up into the middle of your head with your eyes open. And as you breathe out, let your awareness again run down into your pelvis. Take your time. See if that is possible. See now if you can make this connection between your eyes and your pelvis. So you can feel it's as if when you breathe in with your eyes open, you feel the whole of your midline. And when you breathe out, you relax around the midline all the way down. It can be a bit like, for example, breathing in through the eyes, you breathe in and down to the pelvis. And when you breathe out, you relax around the midline. Or if you prefer the other direction, then you breathe in, you breathe up. For a moment, you notice the space around you. And then again, when you breathe out, you return the awareness down. So, since you are all Dharma practitioners, the suggestion I'd like to give with this practice, I don't know what you notice, but this is, for example, a way of practicing where you can sustain that even in ordinary daily practice. Also, when you move around in Madrid, it's possible to have this focus in this way and maintain this as a continuity. You can then, in your sitting practice, as you begin to feel this connection, you can find wherever it is comfortable for you. It can be, one sitting is very comfortable to do this for 10 minutes, and then maybe come and rest in the space in the middle of your head. Or the next sitting, it's comfortable to come and rest in the middle of the heart. Or it is to come and rest in the belly, that's what's needed. So you can have this attitude of playfully play with the breath in this way, up and down. So you get a sense of nourishing and appreciating and creating that inner quality of space and ease. And at times that can be really useful to just sit and circulate. And then other times you come and rest at one of, for example, the points that you find is useful. Or you can go a little back and forth. So like a few minutes, maybe you need to do some circulations. And then for a few minutes, you come and rest, for example, in your belly. So you can kind of develop this form in a way that is non-ambitious, not driven. Remember that what enlightenment is not an attainment. It is an ungrasping. Maybe I say a few words about these qualities, the qualities that are necessary for awakening. There is three qualities that in the start you practice, they can appear as separate, but you will notice this is what cross-culturally, this is not only in Buddha Dharma, this is the qualities that when they are developed and established, they lead to what in Buddhism we will call Nibbana or enlightenment. So you can notice the first qualities that needs to be developed, and that is the ability to completely relax. And so in a way, as relaxed as lying on a hammock on a beach by the sea in Costa Brava or wherever you go here, you have to imagine something that is just, you know, that quality like And as you notice, there is quite a few different practices that you know you can do. Some people do a lot of body sweeping. Some people work in this way with circulating the breath. But in a way, the whole body has to be infused with this quality of relaxation. And over time, it takes care also of a lot of difficulties, pains, and challenges we have physically. It's very, very supportive. But in itself, if you notice, it's a practice you have to make much of. I will say at least 30% of every meditation session has to be towards that enjoyment. In a way also, this is the practice that leads from, in Buddhist language, from samatha or samadhi. So the well-being of relaxation, it begins to lead to what you call jhana factors. Yeah. When the practice begins to get a bit more sophisticated also in terms of learning to open up to be beyond just the surface of the mind. So the quality that we did here for 20-25 minutes, for example, you know, where you learn to come in along the midline and find ways of releasing and softening. So if you notice, a lot of the languages around Buddha Dharma is about how do we learn to embody this quality of softening, releasing, letting go, non-grasping. Yeah. So it's as if, you know, your ordinary sense of self, you know, it's like if I hold this fist and I really clench it, you know, it even shakes a bit. You know? That's the ordinary that creates, you know, past, present, future. You know, I have to, and we all know from when we go to bed. Of course, that's where we fall asleep. So the practices here is to learn to fall awake instead of falling asleep. So part of the practice is this learning to take a holiday Ajahn Chah, the root teacher of my tradition, whenever actually it came to the time of meditation, he would say, holiday. Yeah. So you know, it's an ability where you have to stop being ambitious, stop being neurotic about your meditation. Oh, I haven't attained. Oh, my mind is scattered. Oh, how this, how that. You know, that's normal. That goes on. But meanwhile, you just learn to relax, learn to find ease. The second quality is this quality that you notice of developing brightness or clarity or wakefulness. So what we notice, most of us, you know, when I say relax, let go, most of us, it's like our meditation can become a little bit like sleepy. We mistake, you know, meditation. It's like, oh, we just want to be, you know, crawl under a blanket, you know, and sit and, oh, yeah, not be disturbed. But that's really not the path. The path, you can see, is the really the radiance and the clarity that comes. Is like when you have had a very delightful conversation with a friend, and then all of a sudden you stop. You know, there is a silence, but it's wide awake. You know, kind of clarity, the silence after speech. Or if you hear, you know, sometimes in classical music, you know, they you hear they play something very passionately, and then all of a sudden they take a pause, stop, and then again they continue. It's that kind of pause. So the images that I have, the factors, can you see, that have to come together is as relaxed as lying on the beach on a holiday, and at the same time as bright as an eagle up in the sky. As you know, when an eagle, you know, it can look down 1,000 meters. If there is a small mouse, it can pounce. Yeah, it has at the same time that quality of brightness. Yeah. Usually we have been conditioned, most of us, from school and family system. You know, it's a bit like the military, you know, when we say attention, then we get all, you know, uptight, you know, oh, I have to be awake, I have to be aware. But that would be grasping. So, you know, ungrasping and ungrasping into wakefulness. So those two qualities, at times they can appear, you know, a bit contradictory in the start. So, for example, that's why many of the practices, you know, around developing samadhi, they are practices where you try to develop both at the same time. When, for example, some teachers that teach, you know, mindfulness at the tip of the nose, you know, so you hold a very clear focus, and then you learn to work with the mind. So you brighten and relax, brighten and relax. So it's like those two qualities of clarity and of utter relaxation. And the third quality that has to come in at the same time that you also develop. And remember, these can be developed a bit like over the years of practice. We spend maybe more time in developing one area, you know, maybe for a couple of years, it's important just to learn to relax. Can we relax even more and even more? Yeah, if you can find ever deeper layers. And that can also be a bit challenging at times. As you notice, you relax, there is releases, memories comes up, we can have trauma stored, you know. It doesn't feel at all relaxing. You relax and you just feel tight, you know, you feel angry. And learning to letting go, in a way, just letting it come through. And often, you know, when we come, as you notice, to develop clarity, it can feel, you know, it's not clear, you know, it can, this moment it feels foggy, you know. That's the time, of course, that you come even more into the feeling the whole of your body. So you have that as a grounding. The third quality that has to come in at the same time in Buddhism traditionally, that the practices around Brahma Vihara, but all the practices that soften and tenderize the heart. So the Buddhist often mistranslated, chitta is translated a bit as mind. What you could say more is heartfulness instead of mindfulness would be a good translation. Yeah. So that sense is when you begin to infuse everything with that quality of friendliness, the quality of traditional Buddhism, actually joyfulness. So when these three qualities come together, utter relaxation, clarity as such, infused with this open, trusting heart, that is one moment of, you could say, enlightenment, where the factors have come into one. So in the start, if you remember as a child, I don't know how it is in Spain, I come from Denmark, I remember, remember when I had to learn to ride a bicycle. In the start, this little bicycle, they had to put extra wheels on the back, because this, and even my father had to hold on to me. Yeah, so I had to have extra wheel and my father holding me, and it felt like whoa. And then one day I was going, and I didn't notice my father was not holding me anymore. I could just go, whoa. And then, came that time when they took off the wheels, the extra wheels, and I could go on 2 wheels. And so you notice, like, I could sense of, whoa, I could hold balance. I could run the pedals, and I could also choose the direction. And in a way, it's like all 3 in the start, if in the start, if I concentrated on the pedals, then, I didn't know where I was going. And if I was looking where I was going, I would fall over. Yeah, it feels a bit like, but all of a sudden, if you remember learning about, all of a sudden, there is one time they all come together. And of course, a little later, you can ride your bicycles, you can talk to your friends, and you can look around, and you can also sing a song, and you can just kind of go quite at ease. Yeah, it's become part of you. And you never forget it. Even after 20 years, you can still go on a bicycle and wow, the skill is there. And so is the same in your practices. You can notice they appear as different qualities in the start. In the start, means the first 10 years. Yeah. If you practice 1-2 hours a day. Yeah. So and it can feel a bit like confusing and doubtful, should I do this and should I do that, and I would say just don't worry. If you hold these 3 qualities, that is the direction to go. So the direction will be to ever soften towards that which is awake, and hold it with kindness. And that just, they begin to play together. So in one moment of practice, they just begin to infuse you at the same time, these qualities. And that is what that is really when you will begin to notice, you begin to have let go of the sense of being a practitioner or a meditator, the kind of the somebody who is trying to practice in order to attain something. You will begin to notice that one has gone away. There is just actually this sense of openness as such. So you could say, it's like just ever more open into life. So that will be, should we say, a bit like a condensed three simple things you can hold to develop. And as you say in Dharma, they bring much joy and benefits in the present moment. And also the good karma, you could say, you plant ongoingly the good seeds of practice, that it brings rewards both in the present moment, but also in the future. And if you're very classical Buddhist say, that says, you know, if you enter this stream, this way of practice, for sure it will lead to the sea of liberation. That is considered. Don't doubt that. I would now like just to open it up. Whoever wants to comment, maybe say a bit, how was the meditation for you, or also if you want to ask questions, feel free to just see what you want to bring into the space. You probably will have to unmute yourself.
Suvaco, maybe I will ask a question. I loved how you presented that, and I love these three qualities, these three characteristics. So a little curious on the third one, the generating joy, heartfulness. Would you recommend using like phrases for those of us who are kind of, you know, left brain or whatever, and in a meditation where we're also using the breath, mix it together, or would you keep those separate and just go for the felt sense of things?
Yeah, I think we are all slightly different, definitely. If you, some of us, it can. I think the most important for that aspect is actually, I'll turn it, yeah, is to begin to actually come into this area here, and however way it feels. It's not supposed to feel any particular way, but you'll notice is a softening, a tenderizing that happens very literally even in the physical heart and pericardium, and in the middle of the chest. And to use any phrase you'd like, could be, you know, as you notice, the phrases, the classical phrases, may I be safe, may I be at ease, or even may this body be at ease. It can be really useful for some of us. Instead of saying, may I be safe, may this whole body be happy and at ease. It could also be even so simple, for example, in the forest tradition, as you know, you use the word Butto. They use actually a mantra, both with the breath or without the breath. And traditional teaching will be put the Butto in the middle of your chest. So it can be, you know, silently you repeat a few times Butto. And of course, because Butto brings up a lot of devotion. I will feel also very comfortable in, you know, in Spanish culture. You can have a mixed, some of us have a mixed legacy with the Catholic Church. You know, some of us, well, I don't want to have anything to do with it. You know, they are just terrible people. Italians say cornuto. Yeah. But it could also be, you know, many of us have a legacy from childhood actually that is very beautiful around. So can you see, if you're not attached directly to the form, you can make use of, for example, you know, imagery that we have, for example, even of, for example, Mary, just to bring up that experience and connect with it. I will say, Jim, a good practitioner is not afraid of taking the skills if you know the direction you want to go. Anything that supports that tenderizing, that opening of heart. For some of us, you know, phrases, the problem with for some of us with phrases is we often get a little bit mechanical or heady. You know, we sit there and repeat, you know, may I be well, may others be well, but in reality, you know, we sit there, you know, we sit maybe meditate with other people, and you know, we feel we sit next to somebody, they irritate us, yeah, and we still sit there and think, you know, may all sentient beings be well and happy, and you know, and internally we sit and feel maybe, oh, I wish they were gone, you know, something like this. Yeah. So instead of the phrases, of course, that's the times when you go directly to your lived experience. That's how can I make the experience of this whole body or mind just be at ease, be well. So yes, phrases if you like. No phrases if you don't. Yeah.
Thank you, Suvaco. You know, I might have pushed a button
Javier.
that prevents people from unmuting, but now you should be able to unmute. Sorry about that.
Hello. Yes, I want to share that sometimes I meditate with a smile in my mouth. I like Thich Nhat Hanh monk said sometimes that it's good to smile a light smile, and I feel that this helped to me to be more enjoy the meditation. I want to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. I know it's spot on. Thich Nhat Hanh, particularly in the Buddhist tradition, you know, he really makes a lot out of smiling meditation. You can also expand upon it. So for example, you know, when you really have that sense of softening with a smile, and you can particularly, you know, with a smile, you really soften in the jaw, in the back of the skull, areas where, you know, we can be tight. And you can expand upon it, of see how it is to bring that smile, bring it around your body. So, you know, smile down, for example, into your lungs, into your heart, into your liver, into your belly, into your pelvis, into your feet. Bring the smile around the body. Yeah, that again, you know, can you see you have simultaneously the quality of relaxation, the quality of bringing brightness, and the quality of bringing kindness. Can you see they begin to work together if you use the smile in that way? So both, yeah, relaxing, just hear the smile, but see how it feels to bring it around the body. Very nice practice. Hello, Sarah. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi. Sorry. Yeah, I have a question. I really liked how you explained that when we learn a skill, that at one point we don't think about it anymore. Like the rational ambition goes away, and we just learn it, like riding a bicycle. And at one point, this is also, or is also like that with meditation or being mindful. But also we have like a lot of automatisms that kind of fight or are exactly the opposite of what we want to learn with meditation. For example, the thinking mind, or that we are always like distracted or somewhere else. So my question is, for example, does this, when we learn this skill, does it prevent the, does it prevent the negative automatisms to come back? Or because mindfulness is exactly what we actually should do or against this, but I feel like there are a lot of automatisms which keep me back.
No, thanks. That's a really, it's actually a very deep question. I'll try to put simply, Sarah. Leave it alone when you meditate. Just leave it alone. It's a bit like you have some periods of meditation where you only stay focused down, particularly down in your belly. You can notice how the breath comes in and out of your belly, and just let the head just do what it wants. Sometimes, and it has its own, often also, as you say, automatic patterns. Yeah. There is a very subtle way, if you notice, in meditation, we so badly want it to go away. Yeah. And that's what keeps it going, in a way, is the wanting it to go. So, and in a way, we try all kind of strategies all the time, and of course, they like that. It's like, you're trying to get rid of me? They get even more stubborn. That's their nature. So in a way, if you just stay down in, for example, somewhere else than your head, you find somewhere that is pleasant. Very important, begin your meditation, go to that which is most pleasant, and just stay there. And you leave this alone. If you leave it alone, it will begin to go away all by itself. My teacher, Ajahn Sumedho, he used to say, listen to the thinking mind as if you're listening to the neighbor on the other side of the fence, on the other side of the garden. You're out in your garden, you're relaxing, you're sitting in a chair, and you can hear the neighbors, they're chit-chatting. In a way, you just listen to them, but it doesn't disturb you, because you're not involved. You can even have fun, and they say this and they say that. Yeah. Now, if you leave the mind alone like that, and you stay down, for example, down in your belly, you don't give it energy, it will basically begin to go away by itself. And the more you do that, can you see, by nature, the strange thing that begins to happen gradually, you might not even notice it in the start, is when it goes away, and it doesn't really come back unless you begin to again give it attention. So in a way, you establish, can you see, is like a skillful new habit, like the habit of leave it alone.
Thank you. That was very helpful. Because I think I experienced that, exactly that, with feelings I didn't wanna feel, and once I allowed them, or I just like didn't push them away too hard, I had the same experience. So thank you.
Great, Sarah. So notice is part, we live often, you know, there's so much going on here. Partly, you know, it's the culture we are in. And you put your awareness, that's why I will stress this way of the more you put it into the body in this way. And then this will begin in a way to fade by itself. Jim, I'm aware of you. You need to go.
Thank you. I mean, it isn't that I need to go, and I'm good. I'm loving this. I'm loving this, Suvaco. So, if I feel like I'm better off going to that protest, I will tell you. But right now, I'm learning a lot, so enjoying this.
Okay. Okay.
David.
Thank you. Just a quick question on the playful approach to field breathing. I found it much more easy to follow the breath by constantly and by keeping attention to the breath. My assumption is that it is because we were following the breath not in a natural way, like from up down, but down up, and that gives like an extra attention, a need of attention because we're changing. Do you have any other tricks? Like,
yes. Plenty. But I think, David, that will for other guided meditations. But I will say to you, David, trust yourself. Be creative, you know, but you hold it in this way playfully. It's a bit like an artist that has a paintbrush. Use the breath in that way, soft and playfully. And you have to come into a place in yourself where you have that kind of a bit childlike creativity, a place between fun and curiosity. Yeah. In very, very, very early days of my practice, when I was a very young monk, when I was a young monk, one of the older monks said to me, when I had a simulacrum, she said, and if you can't work that one out, Suvaco, then you're too stupid to practice here. Yeah. So he really said to me, you know, please be creative. So like now, you know, I give you this is a suggestion. Some of us, for example, when we do this practice like this, you know, even using the breath can be a bit too much. Some of us don't like that. Sometimes it's good. But even just to track with your awareness up and down. Or maybe you find out for yourself, you know, it really works that you breathe in and out through your feet. You can spend a lot of time having fun thinking, oh, wow, if I breathe in through all my toes and out, in through my toes and out, oh, wow, that's really great, you know. Or another time you find ways of circulating it through the body. And, you know, and then of course, when you begin to notice what is the result is you feel nourished, you feel calm, and you feel energized. Yeah, so you can always, it's only in the very, very beginning that we need, we need guidance. After a while, you can actually begin to notice for yourself what works. What really works for me? So, you know, you even take the suggestion I come with. Yeah, it's a suggestion. Great. I can go away and work with it. But take it and make it your own. Make it work for you.
okay, thank you.
So let's all of us who are left here, just for a moment, yeah, again, without changing anything. Don't, yeah. Just for a moment. Feel the whole of your body. Just feel yourself as you are. And then breathe in, feel the whole of your body. Breathe out, completely relax. Completely relax. Can you relax even more? Let go in the jaw, in the belly, in the pelvis, in the feet, in your eyes. Just let go, let go, let go. And then relax. Relax into that which is awake. And then again, open your eyes. Very useful to take, if you can in daily life, little moments like this. You can train yourself in that way, for example, 1 week, you really train yourself for this week. When I put on my shoes, each time I put on my shoes, this is the most important moment of meditation. Not when I sit and meditate. This is like, it's like being at the monastery or being in front of the Buddha. Only when I put on my shoes. See how that is, just for 1 week. And then the next week, only when I brush my teeth. Then the next week, very important, at the toilet, you try, for example. Very good place to let go. When you sit at the toilet, just the moment it says, plop, you let go completely. So you can sit, can you see? So you find your own creative ways in daily life. You have fun with it. That's what it in a way, it will long term give you more than going on retreats and then coming back and feeling, oh, I'm back and now I'm all over the shop, I have lost it all again. You find those little moments, even, can you see, in a way, in a very busy life, when you go to bed at night, go to bed 10 minutes earlier, and you lie and you do this sweeping along the midline, for example, And when you fall asleep, you can notice you're falling asleep. See, how does it feel to just relax into wakefulness as you notice, sleep comes upon you. So all these little moments you can find for yourself. That's when you notice your practice becomes much more like a quality practice. But it has to have this sense of non-ambition, pleasure. If otherwise, you notice we spend so much time trying. We are trying so hard, And of course, each time you try, you lose it. They come as a pair, If you try something, the other side will come automatically as, oh, I can't. Oh, I have to try harder. Oh, I can't. I'll try harder. Maybe another technique. Maybe another teacher. Maybe I listen to a Dharma talk. That would be. We go like this a bit, back and forth. Instead, this kind of non-ambitious, small daily things.
Suvaco, this is Luis speaking. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Luis. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have something similar to these little moments of relax for clarity? That would be great. Did you understand me?
You mean if I have other
little
ways?
moments for clarity or for practice Dharma Vihara, the heartfulness, or it is not applicable, this trick?
Yeah. So, yes, Luisa, what I have found is actually simpler and simpler. I can tell you what has worked for me over years. I practiced so much first in Thailand in my early monk years, and later in England. And actually, I actually really like to work with the mantra Butto, but that's just one. You can change it with anything else, some like Om Mani Padme Hum, or but Butto. And I actually like to put the Butto somewhere in my body. For example, for one day, I put Butto just in my belly, or just in the middle of my chest. So, every 10 seconds or 15 seconds, it becomes Butto, Butto. So in the start, it's a little bit of an effort, but it gives you these brief moments of continuity. And eventually, over time, the words, they drop away. They're unnecessary. One doesn't repeat mentally Butto. But remember, it's not a head. Keep it down in the body, the Butto. Yeah. And after a while, just the actually sensations themselves, there comes the sense of sensations and space. But because so many times I have put in the intention, the clarity, it's like giving yourself very, very gently a reminder, relax, be awake, relax, be awake. Yeah, but very, very, very gently. So that's a very classical way that you will find cross-culturally, when you speak with practitioners, whether they're Hindu or Sufi or even Christian practitioners, often a very, very simple thing. And I like, for example, Butto. It reminds me of that which is awake. The problem, Luis, is like we often grasp at awakening. For example, we all know it's about being here and now, but then we grasp at here and now. We make here and now almost like into a god. We hold on. It's like a monotheism. It becomes like an imposition. Yeah. And that's what we consider, wrong practice. In a way, it's about relaxing into the present moment. So you can allow, in Buddhist language, sankharas, formations, thought formations, feeling formations, mountain formation, trees formations, body formations, whatever they are, all forms. You can actually just allow them to come and go as they are. That is where you will see the kind of non-grasping. Does that make sense?
Yes, a lot of sense. Also, did I understand you well when you said that maybe one has to take something like 10 years to learn how to relax well?
Because it never ends, each of these little practices, learning to completely relax, is not as if, that becomes continuous. It's an ongoing sense, so it's like you keep having built into you, ongoingly, and then in that, there is a sense of brightening or widening, becoming the space. Yeah. And then you know, if for example, my teacher Ajahn Sumedho, he will also, all of the practices are around using, for example, the sound of silence at the same time. So they're all just like guideposts to develop that sense of continuity. You realize who practices? No one. Yeah. Practice is practicing. It's not an attainment, as I said, you know, it's a relinquishing of the one who has to attain anything.
But that is a very difficult subject again. It's another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
One
Crazy
that
world,
takes
huh?
10 years.
Well, let go even of that idea, because can you see, then you become the somebody who has to do this for 10 years in order to realize that I have to let go. You have to let go of that even. It's just like, in a non-ambitious way, find these moments of just softening and continuing.
Yeah, well, I meant the difficult one was the more difficult. I find it to be very difficult to let go the self.
Yes, in a way, can you see that's a paradox, isn't it? The self cannot let go of the self.
Why is that?
That is more a realization that we see it never existed. You know, it's a bit like one of the classical images, you know, is imagine it is night and there is a man that holds a, you know, one of these torches with a flame. You have seen these you have in Spain, yeah, a piece of wood, you dip it into petrol and woof, and he swings it very fast, yeah. So you see there is a circle of fire. It's there is a circle of fire. And then you notice with the practices, you're learning to relax and slow down and relax and slow down. And then when you slow down and it stops, you realize there never was a circle of fire. It didn't exist. It was just an illusion created by speed. So the sense of self, you know, is, can you notice, you know, is created by this sense of, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. So all the practices, you know, they become just ways where you begin, don't worry about the self. You begin to nourish yourself. And then you have this realization, wow, you know, this sense of self in a way, you know, it never really existed except dependent upon factors all the time. You can't have the self without other. It's like they co-arise. And the practices are skillful ways so they begin to cease. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Oh, very welcome.
So I'm noticing the time, we've gone over our usual time, and I know, well, I don't know, but I appreciate you, your time, Suvaco. This has been amazing. I hope we can have you back, really, for a follow-up. Even if we're in our space, when we finally do get into our physical space, I figure out a way to beam you in. That was amazing. Are there people who want to do the small groups just to connect with each other? Is that something? I see Carlos would like to do that. Anybody else? Few people? Okay, so maybe what I'll do is we can let Suvaco go. I'm going to set up the small groups. Then I'm probably going to go too, and you guys can just quit when you want to quit, if that's okay. And I don't know, Suvaco, do you have like a dedication of the merit, sort of an ending that you like? Or, I mean, we don't need to do that, but this whole thing has been a dedication of the merit as far as I'm concerned. It's been pretty amazing.
Actually, I just want to end by actually expressing really my heartfelt gratitude to you, Jim, for hosting and setting this up. This group thing is, yes, wonderful. And I also know how much work goes on behind the scenes. It's not just 1, 2, 3 set up a group. So just like take in reflect upon the goodness of your life, and then also just again on a just personal note, my heartfelt regards to Alberto Nandasilo. Good to see your face again after having crossed paths before in Amravati.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bante. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. And so just so briefly to end, can you notice all of us who are sitting here, notice that strange condition? Yeah, can you, on one level, here we are looking into a screen. But see, can you notice that I really like you to take in, can you notice the living, felt experience? Can you notice that in your heart, in your body, that sense of Sangha, that non-localized? Can you see, we are not in the same room. Yet that dimension of us humans, there is a dimension where we always already are connected up with each other. We always are. We live in a time in history where you notice there is a lot of trouble and challenges, because that's very hard for humans to take that in. But notice just that, just notice the living felt experience of belonging, of Sangha, something we co-create. And so I'd just like to basically personally thank you all for being here. It's like for showing up in this way. Because you're here like this, I can be here like this. I mean, isn't it wonderful? That's sense of Sangha. And may you all be well, may you be at ease, and may the practices bear fruit for the benefits of you, and automatically when they benefit you, they will benefit everybody around you.
Thank you, Suvaco.
Hola, vas con Dios.
Adios. Con Dios. Bye, Suvaco. Thank
Bye.
you.
Hope to see you again.
I hope so.